folks, here we are back at Energy NL 2023 with Gale Force Wins, sponsored by Everwind Fuels. This is an exciting day, day two. I just attended a scrum upstairs where there was so much positivity coming from so many people, but this person that we have here today is I'm just going to let you introduce yourself. For those that may not know you, may not know your portfolio, just introduce yourself, please, Minister.
I'm Jonathan Wilkinson, and I am Canada's Minister of Natural Resources.
So you heard that right, folks. We have the Minister of Natural Resources here. Minister, I am blown away by the energy industry. Gale Force Wins is a positive podcast, primarily on business. The numbers are staggering. I mean, how are we going to get this right? You gave some really good answers upstairs. Let's just talk a little bit about that.
Well, there are enormous opportunities for this province as we think about capturing some of the opportunities that will come from a transition to a low-carbon future. Some of them are in offshore wind and the production of hydrogen. I think I mentioned upstairs that the expectation for offshore wind is it's going to grow 15-fold from where it is now. It's going to require investment of $1 trillion by 2040. There is an enormous opportunity. This province has great wind resources. It has highly skilled folks that have been working in the offshore for a long period of time. It has all kinds of experience in ocean-related research. It is well positioned to be able to actually seize that opportunity and to create jobs and economic prosperity for Newfoundland and Labrador.
It must be astounding for you as a Minister of Natural Resources to just see the opportunity that's unfolding before your very eyes while you're responsible for the portfolio.
Yeah, it is. I would say it's perhaps even more gratifying because before I got into politics in 2015, I spent 20 years in the clean technology business working on energy-related technologies that were about addressing energy issues but also managing carbon emissions. And so this has been a long time coming for me. We're starting to see it really accelerate, the pace of change accelerating. It is accelerating in part because we have to make progress, just given what we're seeing in terms of the impacts of climate change. But it's also accelerating because we've been working on a lot of these things for a long time, and we're getting to the point where they are enormously cost competitive, and they actually are meeting market needs.
It's amazing to me when you say you've been at it for 20 years. This is the culmination of a lifetime's work for you. That is incredibly gratifying. I can tell you I have an enormous amount of respect for you for taking on the political arena. No, that's not easy. In terms of getting up every day, and this is kind of getting into the positivity of Gale Force Wins, I guess you jump out of bed pretty quickly in the mornings, I would imagine. You got a lot on your plate.
Yeah, I've definitely got a lot on my plate, but I get up every morning thinking about the opportunities, not just about the challenges, right? I honestly believe that the way you make progress on climate, I used to be the environment minister before I became Minister of Resources, is not just to tell people that the sky is falling. That motivates some folks, but it's not the vast majority. It's also about the opportunities, that there will be good jobs, an economic opportunity for you and your children and your children's children in a much more sustainable future. And so every day I get up and I get the great privilege of being able to contribute to making that happen.
Yeah. As a person who's in business development for 20 years, what piece of advice would you give to anyone, youth, anyone out there, in terms of getting up every day and being positive? What kind of advice would you give?
Well, I think you can get out of bed and be worried or be down about some of the things that are facing you, or you can get out of bed and think about, like what I said before, about how you can actually make change, how you can actually seize opportunities. You think about it on the positive side, not on the negative side. And the more that you can get yourself into that frame, the more progress you're going to make.
Yeah. I can say this, that you're the first person that ever said the number $1 trillion on our podcast. We deal mostly, around some smaller issues. $1 trillion. Was that the $1 trillion for Canada or the entire industry?
That's the growth of the entire industry by 2040. But what I would say is both Newfoundland and Labrador and Nova Scotia have an opportunity to take a good piece of that. The resource is here, and the folks that actually are looking for us to help them with their own energy transition is Europe. It is proximate. There is a huge opportunity. We have to be bold. We have to be quick. We actually have to be in the game early, but that's why we're here.
Well, folks, I'm going to tell you something. This is what leadership looks like. This is someone who's getting up every day to make sure that this country is, the economics of this country are safe for us and for all people. Thank you, Minister. The Minister of Natural Resources. Thank you very much.
Thank you.